Okay, so I was asked to talk about the product, the solution we've got of PVstop. We are the distributors in South Africa, ltvtech.co.za. Go there, or you can go to pvstop.co.za. But more towards the agricultural side and rural areas, what is the risk? And we're going to use a case study that happened in South Africa. So if you Afrikaans, I'll just ask me, I'll do Afrikaans one as well. But I've got a follower base outside of the South Africa and also people that don't understand Afrikaans. So I will try to do this in English and then we can talk about it. So the risk on PV, I've got lots of videos about it. I got to it because I looked at the whole system and I saw that you cannot switch off the sun. That's the main thing. PV panels, as soon as the sun hits it, it produces energy. It doesn't matter where you try to stop it, there will always be energy through the system that has a potential hazard. So especially with firefighters, safety for them. So that is a good solution for that. But even if you're in the agricultural side, you are far away from help. We try our best to get it to them, but it takes time. But even if you're a homeowner or you are on the agricultural side, you want to stop the risks. You've got a farm, you've got liabilities, especially if you start a fire and it goes to your neighbor, you will be held accountable. That itself is a big risk. So how can a fire start? By arcing. So it all depends where your panels is installed. So, and it does not have to be the source of the fire. Even if it's in your home and you've got panels on your roof, you will have a problem to mitigate the risks and to fight the fire. Even if your panels is freestanding, somewhere, there's grass, there's arc, it could be a problem. It will start to burn. But to get to PVstop, what does it do? It's a liquid, it's basically a liquid fire blanket that you spray on. You can go and look at all the videos. That will, with 40% of the coverage over the panels, we are very serious about the training. We're busy developing that. You can do courses already from overseas, but going to do it in South Africa as well. We're going to try to do it in a few languages so that everybody understands how the product is working. But with 40% coverage, you will drop the volts and the amps will drop because it's connected in series and your system will be safe. How much panels can you do? Basically, it all depends who's the person that's spraying it. So your first time that you spray, you might overspray too much because you only need 40%. So you can just quickly de-energize it, go over the panels. In the middle of the panels, depends if it's split cells, we will do all those training. So we'll quickly de-energize it so that the system is safe. This is an example of a system that they sent to us. As they sort of contacted me, he saw some of my content and the website, so he wanted to know what's my opinion. I looked at it. They said it happened inside the conduit going towards the PV combiner box. So this system is a 150 kilowatt three-phase system. So it's 50 kilowatts with lots of batteries. So my suspicion was it didn't start in the conduit. Maybe it could. How did it happen? It could be while they were installing, some of the wires got damaged. That's a possibility. It could be rodents going inside, chewing on the cables. It could be squirrels. It could be anything. So risks are there. It's not always there, but it is there. But you have to have a plan. And although the regulations doesn't say it, you don't want to go into court with a case. So you try to do your best to eliminate the panels, and with PVstop you can do that. So they used 7 fire extinguishers. So I am allowed to use the footage. I told them I will give them advice. I will tell my story and I will write a report if I can use this for educational purposes. So they say it's fine. So I'm not going to disclose where it is and who's the installers. It doesn't matter. Perfect installation. running new type of technology, running there. So they found the guy and they said, listen, it is burning. And I think they used 7 or 9 fire extinguishers, and every time it just reignites because the sun is still shining, it will still producing, and all these wires are and all the connections are just making one big arc. And it just, yes, I will also put a video on here as well, how these boxes burn, and you cannot stop it. And it's inside with all these batteries. They found the installer 200 kilometers away. The only thing that he said to them is they must stop the flow of the energy and they have to cut the wires. So they got another installer that was close by, and he came and he actually took a big risk. Luckily, nobody was injured. Took a big risk. Put a video on here. This is what he did, cutting the wires. So some of the people will say to me, listen, cut the negative, cut the positive. I'm trying to see, some people say even it runs from negative to positive, positive, negative. Very difficult. The DC current is just pushing all the way. So you have to stop it. As soon as you cut it, it's a big risk. So the smallest incident where somebody died of a system was a 24 volt on a caravan. A guy went up to the roof, worked on his air conditioner on the caravan, and he got electrocuted. Perfect conditions, wet. It all depends, but you only need a few milliamps to be electrocuted if it goes through the heart, especially if you use this hand and you touch something and it goes through your heart, it's going to be fatal. So yeah, safety is very important. So you are far away, you can basically, you've got a firefighter, you can try to fight it, you will put water on it. Don't, you cannot, it's too risky. And your workers will most probably do that, and you can end up with a liability claim and go to court and explain how he's not trained to do that. You cannot just say to them spray it. You cannot just say to them go cut it. So you need to de-energize it, and with PVstop you are able to do that. Especially for the fire, it will keep on going. So even if you spray, if it's on the grass, it will start burning. It's only 0 point something percent that PV panels are involved in solar, but there's other problems as well. So if there's a field fire moving into your solar plant, that could be a risk. If there's floods, if there's storms that we experience now in Margate, last week in Cape Town, up in the Kroonstad, the Free State, hail. There's so many things that can happen, especially with the weather we have these days. So yeah, it is a safe way to de-energize your panels. So one bottle will do one string 100% if you can do it good. So then the system are de-energized, and that can stay on up to a year on that. The system will be safe. Afterwards, you just peel it off, and it's classified that you can just put it in your normal waste. So it's in a way of environmental tested. Even if it's on water, it's been tested in Singapore. There's so many tests on it, so you can go and have a look at all the gradations and everything. So if you've got one string on your home, you can de-energize it 100% with that. So it's non-conductive. It will close up all the electrical faults, basically seal it so the system is safe. Loose connections, so thermal is very important. Maintenance is important. Get somebody that can do maintenance for you with thermal. Just come through, seek if there's any hot spots, any loose connections. That could have been prevented. Arc detection, there's prevention as well. It's not just the solution, there's prevention. But even if you have lots of prevention, there could still be something outside. So there's always risks, and we have to mitigate these risks. And you don't want to have a situation like this. So yeah, so you have to look after these things. So you have to seek for the risks. And I always say it's going to take a court case in South Africa to get us to the point where these things will be mandatory, so that you have to have this and that and this and that. At this stage, we've got very good regulations. The people are working hard on the regulations, but the technology is moving too fast. for regulations to keep up. So you have to make sure that you can de-energize your systems. There could be, there's people that will say, yes, you can, if you had a solar edge or you have this or you have that. Everybody won't have the same system. So you need a simple, effective solution, and PVstop is that. Simple, effective. You can use rapid shutdown switches. I mean, I imported some of them. They are good. I actually said to them, listen, I don't think it's necessary to do all the cabling where they cut it. Put a rapid shutdown switch on for future wise. So that will also, if you switch it off, it will switch it off to a certain and to the panel. So this a rapid shutdown would have worked very good here. So that is, but then again, when we know we want to take off all the risk, we want the wire that goes from the panel straight to your inverter, no connections, no disconnections. That is the safest way, because all these connections are man-made, they are tightened, they are the MC4 connections. I speak a lot about them, and there's a solution on the ARC box. So there are solutions. So you have to invest in that solutions, not just, it's your system is an investment. You must look at it. It produces for you. So if any investment, you have to take out the risk to get your rewards. If you don't take out the risk, you're going to put in a lot of money and you're going to lose it. And that's what we try to do, especially on LTV Tech. Working with PVstop, working with thermorestor. Thermorestor was also key here. That could have been avoided completely. So yeah, there's solutions, but you have to go the next step and seek the solutions and see that your system will stay safe. So I hope it's lots of talk, but you're open to talk to one of us. You can also talk to Greg in the Cape from Real Fire, Greg and Joe, Real Fire Suppression. More to Gauteng side, you can speak to Richard Lemmer. He's also with LTV and PVstop. And then you're more than welcome to speak to me at this stage. I just want to say we're bringing in the product. There's no reseller. This is not a product that will be selling like crazy that you just want to sell. There's too many regulations because there's only it laws that you just got a shelf life of 3 years. So then you have to rotate them. So we want to make sure that is performed correctly. There are solutions. It's a premium product. It's quite expensive. We have solutions so that you can rent to, don't want to say own, because after the rent period, we'll have to replace it again. But at least you will have it. And we speak to insurance companies and we try to get to them to a point that if you put in and you've got solutions that your system will be safe, and you went the extra mile, that they will reduce your premium. But at this stage, we cannot promise anything like that. That will happen. There are PV fires in South Africa, worldwide, especially on the bigger systems. And yeah, the farming community is walking towards that, going off the grid. Even if you don't have a big farm, even if it's just a house on the farm, remember, you are far away. And even the small towns,